Most people fight back to look strong and expose exactly how to be broken. This video shows you how pulling back isn't weakness, it's the sharpest power move you'll ever learn. Most people, when pushed, push back. It feels natural, automatic, almost like breathing. You get called out, challenged, questioned, and without thinking, your body and mind tense. You feel heat rise in your chest, your jaw tightens, your words line up, ready to fire. It is the reflex of resistance, the instinct that whispers, if I fight back, I will prove myself strong. People believe that standing their ground in every confrontation is the ultimate sign of courage. They think that by showing force they command respect. But that is an illusion. Machiavelli would tell you that the moment you react, the moment you show the world your reflex, you have already lost a piece of control. Because when you push back, you reveal something more important than strength. You reveal where your buttons are. You reveal that you can be moved. The clever opponent is not always the one with more power. It is the one who knows where your pressure points are. When you push back quickly, you hand them the map. They see your emotions light up like beacons, showing exactly where to strike again and again. They know now that anger makes you reckless, that insult makes you defensive, that doubt makes you explain yourself. And once they know this, they don't need to defeat you outright. They simply press the same spot until you break yourself. What most people call strength is often just predictability, and predictability is the death of power. Think of it this way. In a crowded room, someone throws a jab at you, maybe a small insult or a subtle challenge. Most people jump in to defend themselves. They laugh too loudly, explain too much, or fire back with their own insult. To the crowd, it does not look like confidence. It looks like proof that the jab landed. The one who resists without thought is not seen as strong, but as touchy, reactive, and easy to control. The room now knows how to get under their skin, and once that knowledge is public, it spreads faster than fire. The truth is, resistance feels good in the moment. It feels like taking back ground. But in reality, you're giving ground away because you are playing on someone else's terms. They pushed and you responded exactly as they hoped. They made you move. They made you burn energy. They made you show your emotions while they sit back and watch. In power games, the one who moves first often loses because movement reveals weakness. Stillness, on the other hand, breeds uncertainty. When you refuse to resist on instinct, when you pause, when you hold silence, the aggressor starts to wonder if they miscalculated. Machiavelli's wisdom is brutal, but simple. Do not give your opponent the satisfaction of seeing your reflex. If you must respond, let it be on your timing, not theirs. Let it be calm, measured, and deliberate. The man who resists instantly shows he is controlled by others. The man who holds still shows he controls himself. And in that difference lies the line between losing ground and owning the game. The attacker doesn't need to defeat you. They just need to make you move. That is the trap most people never see until it is too late. The instant you react, you step off your own ground and onto theirs. You stop leading the moment you explain yourself, defend yourself, or lash out. You are now inside the frame they set, and in power games, the one who controls the frame controls the outcome. It does not matter if your defense is logical, calm, or even truthful. What matters is that you moved when they wanted you to, and that single shift tells the world you can be led by someone else's hand. Every protest, every attempt to prove yourself, every rise of your voice is not a sign of strength, but of submission. It tells the attacker that you care what they say, that you value their judgment enough to fight against it. Most people confuse reaction with power because it feels active. They believe that pushing back shows they are not afraid, but to the eyes of others, reaction shows dependency. It shows you are chained to the words of another, that you cannot remain still when accused, that you cannot stay silent when provoked. And the one who cannot stay still is never in control. The real game is not about truth, it is about perception. You might be right, you might even be innocent, but if you look rattled, if you look like you are scrambling to explain, then the crowd does not see truth, they see weakness. People are not swayed by reason as much as they are swayed by presence, by composure, by the image of who holds the upper ground. The attacker knows this. They do not need proof, They do not need evidence, they only need you to flinch. Once you flinch, the damage is done because the room has seen you bleed. Think about it in simple terms. If someone in a meeting says your idea is risky and you immediately rush into explanations, charts and defenses, what do people remember? They do not remember your logic. They remember that you seemed worried, that you needed to explain yourself, that you gave energy to the attack. But if you sit still, let the words hang, and only after a pause invite them to share their own solution, the room sees the opposite. They see calm, they see steadiness, they see the attacker scrambling to prove their worth while you remain unmoved. This is the trap of reaction. The moment you show them that their words can move you, you give them a weapon they will use again and again. It may feel unnatural to hold back, but silence and restraint are not weakness. They are discipline, and discipline is the sharpest edge in the game of power. The attacker wins only if you fight on their terms. Refuse to react, and you take the weapon out of their hands before they can ever use it. Aggression looks powerful in the moment, but it is often nothing more than noise disguised as strength. A raised voice, a slammed fist, a sharp insult hurled across the room. These things create a surge of attention, but attention is not the same as control. What looks like dominance is often the leaking of energy, the spilling of emotion that cannot be contained. Aggression exposes the very things the aggressor wishes to hide: desire, insecurity, and impatience. It shows the world that you need to prove something, that you are unsettled enough to burn energy just to feel in control. The man who swings wildly might look fierce, but anyone who knows the game of power can see it clearly. He has already lost control of the tempo. He is reacting, not commanding, and the one who reacts is never the one who dictates the outcome. The illusion of power is dangerous because people confuse movement with influence. They believe that the louder they are, the harder they push, the more others will respect them. But real power never chases. Real power draws others in. The king does not scream to remind people he is king. He sits still, and his stillness commands attention. The general does not charge recklessly into the field. He waits, holds position, and makes others reveal their weaknesses. The aggressive man shows his cards too early, revealing to everyone not only what he wants, but how badly he needs it. The disciplined man, the one who controls his energy, reveals nothing, and that mystery is what makes people cautious around him. Think about how people behave in social settings. The aggressive one tries to dominate the conversation, cuts people off, demands to be heard. For a moment it feels like he is in control, but what he has really done is shown his hunger. He has shown that silence makes him uncomfortable, that he cannot stand stillness, that he must always fill the space with his voice. The more he talks, the less weight his words carry. The calm one, on the other hand, who speaks rarely but with precision, controls the entire mood of the room. People lean in when he speaks because they know his words are not wasted. His silence builds weight, and his restraint creates respect. Aggression is a mask for impatience. It comes from the fear of being overlooked, from the belief that if you do not push hard, you will not be noticed. But true power is never afraid of being overlooked, because it knows its presence is already felt. Aggression burns quickly, like fire consuming itself, while restraint grows quietly, like stone that cannot be moved. The aggressive man might win a moment, but the composed man wins the game. Machiavelli would tell you this: the one who needs to show power is already weak. The one who hides his power until the right moment is untouchable. Energy is precious in the game of control, and the one who wastes it through aggression does not frighten others, he amuses them. The one who conserves it draws others closer, wondering what he will do next, and that wonder is the truest form of influence. When you pull back instead of pushing forward, something strange happens. The aggressor stumbles. They are prepared for a fight. They are waiting for the collision. They want the sound of your defense, the heat of your reaction, the tension of your push. But when you refuse to give it, when you withdraw into silence, calm, or detachment, they are left swinging at shadows. Their force collapses in their own hands because there is nothing to meet it. In that emptiness, they begin to lose balance, and the crowd sees it before they do. People underestimate the power of restraint because they confuse it with weakness. They think that by holding back you are letting the other person win, but in reality you are doing the opposite. You are letting them reveal themselves. Restraint is not surrender, it is redirection. The moment you refuse to meet their energy, you turn their force inward. They expect to strike against your defenses, but instead they feel the weight of their own aggression echoing back at them. And the more they push without resistance, the more foolish they appear. The harder they try to make you flinch, the more obvious it becomes that they need your reaction to justify their attack. Without it, they look desperate, unbalanced, and insecure. Imagine a meeting where someone tries to undermine you. They question your idea in front of others, hoping to make you defensive. Most people would rush into explanation, eager to prove their intelligence. But if you pause, hold silence for a few seconds, and simply ask calmly, what would you suggest instead? The room shifts. Now they are the one under pressure, they are the one forced to deliver, and the crowd is no longer watching you, they are watching them scramble. Your restraint created the flip. By pulling back, you made them expose the weakness in their own play. The pull of restraint is not passive, it is active control. It sends a signal that you are not moved by small attacks, that your energy cannot be stolen so easily. It creates mystery around you because people do not know what you are thinking or planning. That mystery makes them cautious, and caution is the seed of respect. The more unpredictable you appear, the more people hesitate before pushing against you again. Restraint is what makes your presence feel heavy without you lifting a finger. The aggressor thrives on reaction. It feeds their ego. It fuels their narrative. Without your pushback, they are starving. They talk more. They repeat themselves. They exaggerate. They lose composure trying to pull something out of you, and the more they try, the smaller they look. You are not resisting them directly. You are letting them resist themselves. This is why restraint is such a dangerous weapon. It makes your enemies fight the air. It makes them collapse under the weight of their own performance. And it makes everyone else see you as the one who cannot be moved. That is the true pull of restraint. You do nothing, and yet you control everything. Redirection is the oldest art of power. You don't meet pressure with pressure, because pressure against pressure only creates struggle, noise, and wasted energy. Instead, you let the other person's push carry them too far, until they lose balance. It is the same principle warriors have used for centuries. The fighter who charges without control is not defeated by the strength of the opponent, but by the weight of his own momentum. The same rule applies in politics, in business, in relationships, in every arena where power is tested. Overreach destroys more effectively than any direct fight ever could. When someone tries to attack you with words, their aim is simple: to force you into defense, to make you play on their ground. But if you refuse to meet them head-on, if you let their own words hang in the air without resistance, their energy keeps flowing forward. They push harder, they explain more, they repeat themselves, and in doing so, they expose themselves. The crowd begins to see the desperation, the eagerness to win, the lack of control. You have done nothing but stand still, yet already they have begun to unravel. That is the beauty of redirection. It takes no effort from you, only discipline, while it drains everything from them. Think of a negotiation. The inexperienced player responds to every demand with equal force, arguing, justifying, raising their voice to be heard. The seasoned operator waits, lets the other side reveal all their cards, all their needs, all their impatience. He redirects the pressure with calm statements, asking questions instead of answering them, letting silence make the other side nervous. In the end, the one who conserved energy gains the advantage because the other side collapsed under the weight of their own urgency. In personal conflict, the same truth holds. A partner, a friend, a rival might accuse you of being distant, selfish, or arrogant. Most people rush to deny it, pouring out energy in explanations. But the Machiavellian approach is different. You do not argue. You allow their accusation to hang in the air. You remain calm, grounded, and if you choose to speak, you respond with a short phrase that shifts the focus back onto them. Is that how you see it? Such words are not a defense, they are a mirror. They force the accuser to sit in the space of their own emotions, and more often than not, they begin to feel the weight of their own push. In time, their attack looks less like truth and more like overreach. Overreach is the downfall of the impatient. They press harder and harder, convinced that more energy will win them the game. But power does not belong to the one who spends the most. Power belongs to the one who saves it, who redirects it, who lets others burn themselves out while he remains composed. Turning energy against itself is not cruelty, it is efficiency. It proves that you do not need to destroy anyone directly. You simply give them the space to destroy themselves. Those who master restraint look untouchable. They give off the sense that nothing can shake them. Nothing can draw them into the noise that traps everyone else. They appear above conflict, too secure to be baited, too calm to be dragged into small games. While most people rush to defend themselves, explain their intentions or justify their actions, the Machiavellian operator does something very different. He leans back, he stays still, and in that stillness the room begins to wonder. Why is he so composed? Why does he not feel the need to respond? What does he know that the rest of us do not? This is the aura of unbothered power. It is not something you can fake with forced silence or stiff posture. It comes from a deeper truth, that you have trained yourself not to need validation, not to crave approval, not to jump at every challenge. When you no longer feel the urge to prove yourself, you free yourself from the traps that capture almost everyone else. People expect resistance, they expect emotion, they expect reaction. When you do not give it, you create tension in them, not in yourself. That tension turns into doubt. They begin to question their own attack, their own tone, their own judgment, because they see no reflection of it in you. Unbothered power does not shout. It does not perform. It does not defend. It simply exists like a weight in the room, and that weight grows heavier the more others scramble to move you. You can see it when a leader is challenged in public. The weak leader talks too much, explaining point by point why they were right, asking for understanding, trying to appear fair. The strong leader listens, holds their gaze, and then answers with a few calm words. Everyone in the room feels the difference. The weak leader looked rattled. The strong leader looked untouchable. The aura of unbothered power is dangerous because it cannot be measured. People do not know if you are ignoring them out of strength or indifference, and that mystery keeps them cautious. They start to fill in the silence with their own fears. Maybe you are planning something. Maybe you see them as beneath you. Maybe you are so confident that their attack did not even register. None of these thoughts hurt you. They only hurt the attacker, because the more they wonder, the weaker they feel. This is why restraint is more powerful than resistance. Resistance is visible, measurable, easy to counter. Restraint is invisible. It leaves people guessing, and guessing is exhausting. While they waste energy trying to interpret you, you remain calm, conserving your presence. The aura grows stronger with every moment you refuse to be pulled down. In time, people stop attacking, not because you fought them off, but because they know it is pointless. They know that no matter what they throw, you will not be moved. And that is the highest form of power, the power that needs no defense, because the silence itself has become your shield. The silence, the calm gaze, the refusal to push back, it does something far more powerful than any argument could. It creates paranoia. The one who attacked you, the one who tried to make you flinch, now finds themselves in a strange and uncomfortable position. They begin to ask questions not about you, but about themselves. Did they underestimate you? Did they embarrass themselves? Why are you not rattled? Why does their attack not seem to touch you at all? The more they search for answers, the more their certainty rots, and doubt begins to spread like poison. Doubt is the most corrosive weapon of all because it does not need to strike from the outside. It grows inside a person's own mind. Once it begins, it eats away at their confidence, their posture, their voice, until everything they say sounds weaker than before. When someone attacks and you do not react, the energy they threw at you has to go somewhere, and it often turns back on them. They replay their words in their head. They wonder how it looked to the crowd. They second-guess whether the jab was clever or clumsy. Your silence becomes a mirror, forcing them to sit with their own reflection, and most people cannot handle that for long. The reason doubt works so well is because people expect life to give them feedback. They expect resistance when they push. They expect correction when they miss. They expect proof that their words landed. When you give them nothing, you deny them the validation they were unconsciously seeking. Their certainty, which once looked like confidence, begins to look like insecurity. They start asking themselves why you seem so calm, why the crowd is not laughing with them, why no one else is stepping in to support their side. In their mind, silence becomes a sign that they have made a mistake, and from there, their composure starts to crack. Think of a rival in a meeting who tries to undercut you. They expect you to fight back, to explain, to get heated. But when you look at them with calm eyes, when you let a pause hang heavy in the air, they begin to fidget. They repeat their point. They add more words. Each extra word is not strength, it is weakness exposed. Everyone watching sees it. You have said nothing, yet you are the one in control. You made them doubt themselves without lifting a finger. This is why Machiavellian restraint is so effective. It does not just protect you, it corrodes your opponent. They walked in certain they could shake you, certain they could expose you, certain they could win the crowd, but your stillness unsettled them. Now they are the one who looks unsure, who looks unstable, who looks like they need reassurance. And once doubt has touched them, it rarely lets go. You did not argue, you did not resist, you did not explain, and yet you won. That is the quiet power of doubt. It destroys people from within while you remain untouchable. When you finally choose to speak, it is not defense, it is definition. There is a difference most people never understand. Defense belongs to the weak. It is an attempt to clear your name, to soften the blow, to convince others you are not guilty. Definition belongs to the strong. It is not about proving anything. It is about framing reality in a way that serves you. The words are few, but they shift the entire weight of the moment. A calm phrase, a redirect, a mirror, each one simple yet sharp enough to cut through the noise. Interesting perspective, if that's how you see it. Tell me more. These are not defenses, they are traps, and the one who spoke against you suddenly finds themselves caught inside of it. Reframing is the art of turning their energy into their own exposure. When you do not defend, the crowd does not see you as under attack, they see you as composed, even amused. Your few words place the burden back on your opponent. The audience is no longer measuring your reaction, they are measuring theirs. Suddenly, the accuser is the one standing in the spotlight, not you. They are forced to explain, to clarify, to dig deeper into their claim, and with every new word, they risk overreaching. The more they explain, the weaker they look, because what once seemed sharp now looks desperate. You have said almost nothing, yet you control everything. Think of it as a mirror. Someone calls you arrogant. You don't deny it. You don't justify yourself. You don't launch into an explanation about humility. You pause, you hold their gaze, and with calm detachment you say, if that's how you see it. Instantly the attack falls flat. It no longer feels like a hit, it feels like an opinion, and opinions can be dismissed. Worse for them, the crowd is now watching how they handle your indifference. Most of the time, they try to double down, to insist that they are right, and in doing so they reveal their personal bitterness. Their attack no longer feels objective, it feels emotional, and once it feels emotional, they lose authority. This is the secret of reframing. You don't fight the narrative they tried to impose, you redefine it with calm authority. A subtle shift, a short phrase, and suddenly they are the one who looks insecure. Someone says you are manipulative, and you respond only with a quiet smile and the words people always say that when they can, to control you. In that instant, you have flipped the frame. Their accusation is no longer about you, it is about them. They look envious, they look small, they look like the one who cannot handle your presence. Reframing is not about being clever with words. It is about being grounded enough to never play on someone else's terms. When you do not defend, when you redefine, you strip the accuser of their weapon. The crowd stops judging you and starts judging them, and once the crowd has shifted, the game is already over, because no one survives long in the spotlight of their own overreach. True dominance is not found in overpowering anyone. It is found in never needing to. Most people believe strength is about force, about pushing harder, speaking louder, proving themselves in front of everyone. But real power works in silence, in calmness, in the refusal to be drawn into the chaos that consumes everyone else. The one who pulls back controls the tempo, the frame, the energy of the room. Because while others burn themselves out trying to prove they cannot be moved, he simply chooses not to move at all. He is unreadable, untouchable, unhurried, and in that calm, he owns the game without lifting a finger. Control without force is not passivity, It is strategy. It is the art of choosing stillness when others expect resistance, of holding silence when others expect noise, of leaning back when others are leaning forward. The strong man is not the one who charges into every battle. The strong man is the one who knows which battles are illusions, traps meant to drain him of energy. When he refuses to play, when he holds his presence without defending, others begin to feel smaller, weaker, more uncertain. They start wondering if he sees more than they do, if he is planning something greater, if his silence means strength beyond their reach. This kind of control creates its own gravity. People feel it in the way you walk into a room, the way you hold your gaze, the way you answer less than what is expected. You do not push yourself onto others. You let them come to you. You do not fight for attention. Attention bends toward you on its own. The more others try to provoke you, the more your calm presence exposes their restlessness. They talk too much, they explain too much, they gesture too much, while you remain still. And the crowd sees the difference. You are not in a fight, you are in command. The final evolution of power is not about defeating enemies, but about making enemies unnecessary. It is about reaching a point where no one dares to challenge you because they know it will only harm themselves. You have built an aura of restraint, of detachment, of composure, and that aura is enough to make people hesitate. They second-guess their words before they speak them. They soften their tone before they criticize. They look for approval in your silence. By not reacting, you have made your presence the measure of the room. This level of control is rare because it requires mastery over yourself. It means letting go of the need to be liked, the urge to be understood, the temptation to defend. It means trusting that power is not about proving anything, but about defining everything through your stillness. Once you no longer need to fight, you are never truly opposed. Once you no longer need to explain, you are never truly questioned. And once you no longer need to prove, you are never truly doubted. That is the final evolution, to rule without force, to dominate without action, to win without ever stepping onto the battlefield. Maybe this video helped you see yourself or someone you know in a different way. Feel free to let us know via a like or in the comments. And if you want more wisdom and guidance in becoming a better version of yourself, subscribe now. This is the moment to start becoming the person you really want to be.